Good morning guys, welcome to Dusseldorf. We are the early birds here on the Axopar stand this morning. We're going to take a look around the various models on display, and over the coming weeks we'll release an individual video for each model. But this morning we're just going to start off on the 22. Now this is a really popular boat launched in 2021. I've got the absolute queen of this in the UK, Kim, with me this morning. I think I sold 5 or 6 of these a year since we launched. It's a hugely popular boat for us, great entry level to the range. It is trailerable, as well as being dry stackable as well, so we can put it into the south coast marinas and even onto some of the inland waters further north. So I'm just going to spin around. Today we're both just going to run you through the features of this particular one. She's a T-top configuration. If I just stand back so you can take in the full shape, weighing in just over 7 meters long, and this particular one powered by the larger 200 horsepower V6 engine. Gets on for around 42 knots flat out. A real exciting boat to drive. Got that 20-degree deep V twin step hull underneath there, so typical Axopar sure-footed ride. We've got that anti-stuff bow here. You can see the shape down in the hull here to make her very safe in typical sort of Solent waters. Available either as a spider, which is the open boat, or as you see here with the optional T-top configuration. There is a sort of canopy arrangement that can go around here, although typically what we're finding in the UK is this is the preferred open plan layout, just without the sides on. And then you have 2 levels of spec, so standard boat being all white, and then this is a Jobe Revolve with all of the detailing. You can see the turquoise stripe running down the deck here, and then there's some other features when we get on board. You can see some colours and additional water toys that come with the boat. So Kim, in terms of layouts and what have you, what do you think works best on this one?
So we are finding in the UK most popular is the U sofa layout, which you can see on the boat here. If you are doing water sports, the multi-storage option, which then gives you the ability for guys to sit around the back if you're doing the sports outside, is great. But generally we find it is still very much family boating. With the Helm seats being able to spin around, you've still got that vision out the back if the kids are in the water or if someone's on skis. So it's a really accessible seating area. So
just to explain how that works, in the deck moulding down here, this centre section then becomes a big sun pad, effectively a deck mounted box with a lift up lid. With the U-shaped seating here, you can obviously see we have storage down the back, battery switches and what have you in there. And then the table arrangement, this is all optional, lots of different configurations as always with Axopars. Table drops in to the centre, there's a short leg there, 2 filling cushions, and we get a big sun pad in here. Black or white engine on the back is an option worth noting. Base engine actually on the boat is 115 horsepower, although we've never sold one into the UK with this. Kim's just going to demonstrate for us here a couple of revisions on the 2023 model year underneath the Helm seat here. These are all retrofittable if we wanted to add to a second-hand boat, if you're looking around on the market to see what there is out there pre-owned.
Again, getting the benefit like you do on those bigger boats, you've got a really nice fridge storage area and your sink, so you can have a lovely day on board the boat.
You can see we've got nice big rubber seals on the top here. Beautifully engineered, as with all of the larger Axopar models in the range. And you were saying these spin round, right? So we can then get this social seating in the aft end of the cockpit, and they slide forwards and backwards as well, don't they?
Forwards and backwards, bigger turnaround, so everyone can sit having lunch, enjoying a barbecue. Then you turn the seats around, so as you can see here, you've got that seating, everyone's sat together, and then you flip them back around and you are ready to go.
So you see we've got lift up bolsters here, so this one's obviously in a stood position, as you can see Kim leaning against that, and we've got a little footrest on the floor there as well.
Very comfortable for all sizes, whether you're taller or even myself. And with the lifting screen, which I'll just show you, you've then got great wind protection on those windier days.
So you can see that comes up almost into a vertical position, which if you're coming back up the river, let's say if you're on the handle, that gives you protection if you've got a bit of rain. And then down here, so we drop the seat cushions back down, and then these are really then tucked down behind the dash itself if you're going to drive more on the nav kit.
Very good vision all around, and you're protected here with the side protection.
Just
So
keeps
you're
the
very
spray off, right?
tucked in. Yeah, absolutely. Nice dry ride.
So nav kit options, of course we can do a vessel view screen on here, need some basic telemetry for the engine as we don't have individual gauges anymore. So we could put a vessel view screen on, and then this is the option to go for the Simrad NSS Evo 3. So that's like a multi-function, does radar, chart plotter, depth sounder, lots of different options on there depending on how mad you want to go with the nav kit. What sort of other stuff have we got here on the dash then, on this particular one?
So you've got, as James said, you've got your nav lights, you've got anchor lights, deck lights and your horn. So standard setup here. Again, in the nice Merc throttle, very easy to use, very natural. You can feel where you are with the boat and you know when you're in neutral.
So there's a Fusion AV control here, so that does work also through the chart plotter system, but Bluetooth talks to your phone, and we've got then the optional stereo package. You see the speakers in the deck here and also back in the aft end of the cockpit. This was a new feature as well, wasn't it, for 23? So it's now got the option of a bow thruster. We retrofitted, I think you did the first one, didn't you, on the handball?
We did, and the owner found, certainly for his mooring, it was a difficult one on a hammerhead, so it was just that extra help to get that bow in when you do have those stronger winds or a difficult position.
And then this is 12 volt charging, so it takes 2 USB leads, and that's handy for your phone. Plenty of space obviously on the dash here. You could do a sort of rock mount or even add a second screen.
Or I've had some clients now putting fixed VHFs, because although that it's handy to have the handheld, they do like a fixed unit with their helm area. Cool,
so Jobe Revolve we mentioned when we first got on. So this is the detailing you see in the seats. As you can see, we've got the little green emblems on the cushions, and you see that runs through all of the aft end. Say special edition boats, these, a little bit more money than the standard. And I would say into the UK probably 50-50 between the two.
Yeah, we have a real mix. Don't forget, with the Jobe boats you do get a really handy on the water package. So if you are new boaters coming into this, you really do collect your boat and have everything ready to go to get on the water.
So that's a paddleboard, towable, isn't it?
Yeah, towables, paddleboard, vest, and the most important thing that they like to show, we had on display earlier this week, is the hammock. So just if you go forward, they have a hammock that sits in this entire area, so you can lay up front, forwards, facing the back, very relaxing.
There's a couple of options up forward here. So this is an optional seat. There is an option for a seat on the front of the heads compartment, but I think this is probably the most typical route we see in the UK. Little backrest cushion for it as well. And then what have we got in the front?
So you've got your anchor locker here. So we open that up.
So a nice deep locker, comes with the option for a little manual anchor. No need for a winch on something of this size. I'm sure we could engineer a solution, but to be honest, it's really not required. You can see real nice finish on the inside of the moulded locker lids and what have you there.
I was going to say, without that extra situation, having the hands-free anchor, you do keep it nice and clean up the front. You've got your cleats here to use if you wish.
We've got cup holders everywhere. There's a couple of steps here integrated into the side, so if you're on a finger pontoon alongside mooring, that's quite a useful addition to help you in and out of the boat. So what are you opening up here?
I am just opening up the toilet area, very important, and makes a big difference on a boat of this size. If you're moving across from ribs, you know, you'll know that it's very hard to fill the space and make use of it. So this is a great area.
So we've got that moulded in sink unit. There's the option either with a manual or electric toilet system in there, and would you believe there's even a black tank as well, so you can use on the rivers and what have you, inland waterways. Again, nice seal on the door here to keep that dry, and there's some hooks as well if you want to store your wet weather gear.
This is a lockable area, so as James said, use it for storage, but if you're going out on a trip and you don't want to take everything with you, you can lock that and everything's nice and safe in there.
So under the deck here, we can see obviously a fitting here. This is for an optional table.
Basically the table from the aft is then moved up forward, so you've got the two areas to make use of.
And you can see we lose a little bit of space in here with all of the optional extras here, such as the bow thruster here. This is its own steering pump as well for the larger V6 engine. It's got the power steering set up. This is the hammock that Kim referenced earlier that sits in this forward area for sunbathing. So we just drop that back down. let's head on back to the cockpit and we'll open the back locker just to show you how that works. So we're not going to take the table off, but if we just work with the two of us here, I think you can probably pop those two catches and lift it up enough for you just to get a feel of what we've got in the back here. So this is the water sports kit, right, that you referenced earlier?
It is, it is. You've got skis in there, and as you can see, everything fits really nicely in, so you're not having to lose your deck space. However, you will notice just under the seats here, you have got open lockers. Very handy for popping all the kit in when you're done and you want to get going. But it keeps that deck space nice and clear. You've got your dual battery set up there.
That's an option, isn't it? Second battery on these.
Yes.
And then we've got the table legs you can see clipped on the underside of the hatch, just to stop them rattling around. And then in the aft bench seat there, that's the main battery switches themselves. So that does mean when you first get on board the boat, easy to power up. And then we've got a covers pack as well as an option, so that goes around all the cushions here, so when you get back in at the end of a long day on the water, you haven't got too much to do in terms of stowing the boat ready for home. What have we got down the back here? So that's a transom shower, right? Pull out.
Absolutely.
And then decking pack, so we can obviously do an EVA foam style decking in here. So we work closely in the UK with a company called Vassadec, and they will design that to your own preference. So whether it's planked like a teak deck or in big solid colours with more of sort of honeycomb Audi style pattern, we can choose whatever you want, different colours as well.
Don't forget with the roof here, you've got that nice protection as you are going along, but you can actually pop this softer cover off, and then in the summer days you have got fully open boat.
Feels really solid this as well, doesn't it? It's really nice. Yes. Powder coated framework, and it does make the boat feel a little bit more little ship like than the open configuration. But obviously if you're going to put it in your, perhaps in your garage for winter storage, it's perhaps better to go with the open spider version. So pricing on these, obviously we sell the boats in euros, but we're typically in the UK coming out somewhere in the region of 80 to 100,000 on the water, with a nice level of specification, sort of similar to what you might see here. And we say they're trailable, right? So behind a decent size 4x4 Discovery or what have you, quite happy to hook this up and set off on your adventures, whether that's towing it overseas for family holidays, maybe using it down in the West Country. There's lots of different options for venturing off further afield. So we have got a little bit of stock. They're a very popular boat for us, aren't they? So we've got both standard boats and the Jobies in the group. So if you'd like to know more about those, certainly to get on the water for 2023 season, there isn't an opportunity now. Everything's sold out for the actual production schedule, but so we do always keep a couple of boats as an option. So if you want to know more about them, of course, contact details as always. Kim will give you a mobile and you can get in touch and discuss further.
So for myself, it's 07872 680 935, or email is kim.lumley@axoparlondongroup.com.
And of course, trailer wise, we work closely with SBS Trailers. We've got the dual axle UK road legal roller trailers which work with the twin stepped hull. We've got those coming through as well, always into stock, which does mean if you want the complete package, we can offer that. And also in terms of berthing and dry stack options, working very closely with the large corporations out there, so we can get you into usually most of the South Coast marinas and hopefully some influence further afield if you want to be elsewhere in the country. Hope you've enjoyed looking around with us this morning. Lots to see here on the stand, so stay tuned and we'll see you soon.
Thanks guys.